No reason at all. Nothing to be concerned about.
I wouldn't be concerned about it.
Sure.
I'm sure you're going to be fine.
I'm sure.
I'm sure she didn't invite you here for nefarious reasons.
Nope.
Definitely not.
Absolutely not. We won't die. Much.
Nah, you're not. You're not gonna die.
Marcy's muted on the
It's just
Google
gonna
Meet, but I
be.
don't know if he knows that.
Oh, is I
Oh, I
thought
know.
he was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sad to see that. All right, everybody's here. Welcome back.
Hey.
Yeah.
Everybody's here. Panic,
Hey.
and then disco.
Last we left our heroes, we had boarded Leviathan. We had taken a stroll through. We had met some interesting characters. Got into the Gold Gardens and met with who we initially thought was Guardia O'Brien. Revealed themselves to be, at least for now, Caladriel in disguise.
Little shit.
Who uh, gave you some things to think about as he sent you off into the Feywild, where we met none other than the Summer Queen, Lorelei herself. And when we left off, we were in the captain's cabin and about to have ourselves a good old discussion. So I will bring you back to the captain's cabin, and you may take it away from there.
We're all just gonna sit here in silence. Is that what's happening right now? That's fine. I have time. I actually don't. Sit. Lorelei's
Um.
gonna take a seat behind this massive, not intimidating desk at all, uh, and kick her feet up onto the table and just look at all of you. And her eyes will skim past Narco, linger for a moment over Yuki. Pause at Arby because that's different. She hasn't seen that before. And they're going to stop for a little bit longer on Ren.
Hello.
Then to the professor. And they linger just a moment once more before they finally land over on Reverie. And the bit of time that she stares at Reverie is almost uncomfortable before her eyes will swing to Jade and then back across again. So, welcome. Are you hungry? I did promise refreshments.
I think Yuki will pull out her little journal and say, is it a gift freely given?
Sure. The note already specified that she would be able to partake.
Right.
But yes,
Um.
that's free food. You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to owe me your life for it. You can make me tea later one day if you feel like it. That's fine. Not requiring that. I
Yuki will
didn't
perk
make
up at that.
food. Someone did.
I at least had lunch not too long ago when we were aboard the Leviathan, so I am not hungry as of yet.
Ah. Oh, good. Good to know. You all seem very tense.
I think.
Honestly, it's smart. Yes,
I
Yuki.
think. I mean, it's just. It's a lot. Here. She's just gonna like gesture to Lorelei, like all of the you that is you, and um, I
Yeah.
think we're all just wondering what we're doing here, why we were invited.
Well, if you'd like, we could just get right to it then.
Yuki's gonna look at the others.
If we're all on the tenser side, then perhaps business before pleasure.
Don't say pleasure around here. You never know what's going to pop out the wall. Ah, right. You all are here because, one, I received a very lovely note from one of my friends about you. It seems you helped out someone in the Garnet Hand.
That was our latest stop on what's become a small tour of adventures and thwarting disturbances.
Yes, your latest stop after Dumdraw and, well, Rockdale, I guess, was the one up before that, wasn't it? Dumdraw, Crystal Cove. Quite a bit you all have done in only, what has it been, 10, 11 days?
Are you keeping tabs on us?
No. I barely knew most of you existed until quite recently. But as a friend of mine was always able to do, apparently I can just do that shit now. It would have just been a much milder meeting if all you had done was help my associates. Probably not a meeting at all, honestly. Though, a gift here or there, as thanks for helping. The reason you're here and not still adventuring elsewhere, and the reason that you met Leviathan as soon as you did, although from the reports I've gotten, good thing that they showed up. Apparently there was a duck. I don't know what that's about.
A giant duck.
A giant duck. Wonderful. Great. Bullshit magic. Got it. Anyway, the reason you're here and not currently continuing your gallivanting across the continents is because you all are the only people who've gotten very close to a gold-eyed tiefling. Does that spark any memories? Her eyes will swing back to Reverie, who is now Aura. I'm sure by now you know, considering you've dispatched one of them. The gold-eyed tiefling she is not.
No, and not a single one either.
It's funny how that is working out. You see, the person you are after is not the person you are after. Which makes fuck all of sense. I know, I get it. You are like young. I would apologize, but I can't. I will try not to swear as much. That won't happen. Temerity. I assume by this point in time you have at least heard her name. What all do you know about Temerity?
What we know is that Emerity, a wizard of some notable power, traveled with the Thorns of the Black Rose and assisted them, at least for a time. True identity apparently was a changeling.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from that, motives are unclear. Apparently, had some interest in acquiring arcane knowledge to the point that we now know that she had created numerous clones, which,
Yes.
due to some interference, are activated and now working at cross purposes.
Yes. Well, gathering of arcane knowledge is a wizard thing, isn't that right, Telvar?
Yes.
He's reading a book. He might not be part of this conversation much, but yes, that. To what extent she wanted to research whatever she was researching, I can't tell you. What I can tell you is that 6 months ago, Temerity fell off my radar.
And she was one that you were keeping actual tabs on.
Yes, because she decided she didn't want to come. It doesn't matter. She didn't accept my invitation. So, that's fine. You're allowed to not accept my invitation. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to protect you anyway. About. Fuck, what time is it? 20 years? She's been watched. I've
Why?
had people make sure that she is safe. Yes, Aura.
Just was curious as to why you were watching her.
Because at the end of the day, regardless of everything that's happened, she is still one of mine. And I will not let anything happen to people who are mine if I can help it. Couldn't help this one though. Like I said, 6 months ago she went missing. What I know is that 8 months ago she started meeting with someone in the libraries. She's gonna take her feet off the desk and lean over and flip through some scattered papers that are there. A man named Rufus. Two of them researching something. I don't know what. I did not have anyone look into it. What she does is her own business. It's more just making sure she's okay. They'd meet up at night after libraries were closed. Down at Moonhaven, Mage Academy. I was 8 months ago. 6 months ago, my guard spied her getting on a boat with this man. Headed to Weyburn Port. My guard's in Weyburn Port. Never met her. She wasn't on the ship. But she's a changeling. And she is very smart. It would not be the first time she has slipped my watch. 4 months ago, I was contacted because they could not find her or the man she was with. And then I started looking. And I cannot fucking find her. I know she's not dead, because if she was dead, I would know that. And I know that too many people have been seeing a white-haired, gold-eyed tiefling, when if it was actually Temerity, you'd never fucking notice she was at your feet until something happened that you didn't want to happen. Nobody has been able to find any of them. I get reports, I get sightings, I get they were here, and by the time anyone gets there, they're gone, and no one can track them down. You, however, have not only met one of them, and killed them, you have met, by all accounts, at least 2. Interesting. So what are you doing about that?
Apparently nipping at her heels at every turn and never really quite getting any further ahead.
And what about you? And she's going to look at Aura.
What about me?
I know every sighting of the person who was supposedly Temerity is not Temerity. Nariko said she had clone spells. Fuck all I know about magic, but I know enough to know what a clone is. You're as close to Temerity as I've ever seen, and you're still not her. But you have Alatar.
Aura looks down at her spellbook and then back up at Lorelei and goes, "You recognized my spellbook?"
It's hard to forget him. Hello, Alatar.
Aura will open up the book, set Alatar on the table. Joe, do you want to play Alatar?
Yeah. There is a gentle glow on the page. Golden writing resolves to black ink. Just a simple word, hello, before the ink fades away.
Book a few words. First one I've ever met. What
He's
have
not
you?
been able to provide much in the way of any insights as to the situation either.
Well, it's a book. A magic book, but still a book. But it's interesting that you have him.
I was able to figure out the ritual to pull him into this copy of the book.
Oh.
It seems like you know a lot about me already, so I guess I should just tell you that I woke up in the desert like maybe 2 months ago.
2 months ago. Interesting. That timeline is different. Look. You all want to know why you're here. You're here because I can't find Temerity, but you have come as close as anybody else to tracking down what's going on. I do not like having my people disappeared from out underneath me, and I would very much appreciate getting to the bottom of what's happening. And if what your timeline is saying is correct, she says to Aura, that means that whatever they've done, they're not stopped doing. I don't know how many of... You said they're clones?
Indeed,
I don't know how many they've made or Temerity made. But 4 months ago is when we started getting sightings. multiple sightings, sometimes, in different areas. Do you have any other information?
By our count, we estimate that there are at least 5.
5.
There's Aura here, which was not conscripted by the cultists. They
Cultists.
haven't. The best term we have so far, we know they follow Kurgalath the Whisperer, but they haven't divulged any particular name that they ascribe to themselves. Seems very, very similar to those who follow Great Old Ones and other powerful aberrations. But beside the point, 4 others seem to be in the employ of these people. They have so very creatively just listed them Alpha, Beta, Delta, Gamma. Very dehumanizing. We have run into Alpha when they were part of the promotion to steal the artifact from the Sentinel's vault. And then Gamma was present in Dumdaral. Did not meet Delta, but did hear of them as they were being used to set up the Garnet Hand. Beta is currently tracking a mage named Alinda somewhere in Avro. We don't know any further about that.
That's not a name that I'm familiar with, but I can look into it.
Narco pulls out the copy she made of the letters that they found at the Red Dwarf Manor.
May I ask?
Narco looks at the papers, looks to Laura and says, "A gift freely given." He passes them over.
You don't have to say that. Alright, you don't have to say that every time you hand something back and forth. It's fine. It's paper. It's fine. We'll be fine.
Papers can have a lot of things on them, including such precious things as names.
Valid point. Telvar, write that down.
Telvar
If
just
nothing
kind of
else,
gives you a non-committal nod as he turns the page on whatever he's reading.
if nothing else, it's good for us to practice before we potentially meet others, such as your sister, where we will need to mind everything we do and say.
First of all, not my sister. If you would like to meet my sisters, I'll have several that you can meet. Don't meet Mab alone. Not the best idea. She would be. She is much trickier than I am.
In any case, it seems like you're building up to make an offer to us to serve as agents for you in locating Temerity or these pieces of her that are now moving around.
Oh, they just look like Temerity. They're not actually her. She might have made them, but they're not her. Just like you, Aura.
Aura just nods, not really sure what to make of that right now.
That's all these papers. And you said they're going to Averil.
Indeed. We were also en route there, following up further leads. And Narco went to promote personal errands as well.
Ah, yes. Lots of reasons to go lots of places. I'm going to copy these for myself. But you're right. Aside from wanting your first-hand account of what has happened, I would like to make you an offer. Due to the time of year this is, I am not able to continue following personally after certain things. You all have proved quite able in your adventures so far. And if I'm not mistaken, you already said you were on the trail, as it were.
The actions being taken by these people has made it somewhat personal.
Ah. Spirit of every adventurer who wants to do the right thing. How would you like to get paid for it?
Narco raises an eyebrow. You're
Is that a
asking us
yes?
to... Well, our work as Domestic Mechanicus is part of community outreach. There have been rewards, but we don't have a set price structure.
Oh, I'm sure we can negotiate something. I have a few ideas in mind.
Narco starts taking out some pieces of paper from her briefcase and setting them out with a pen. And share your ideas. I will confer with my compatriots, and we can let you know which ones seem the most appealing.
Lorelei smiles at Nariko. Yeah, I'm glad that you made it. So, what I want you to retrieve Meredith. I want to know what happened. I want to know what she was doing that got her in trouble. And I want you to find out who did it. To the best of your ability, of course. Wouldn't be the first time someone slips through or a piece of information goes missing. That's not going to be on you if that happens. In exchange, I will give you some tools to help along the way, which you may keep once the contract is ended. They'll be yours. Although, if you should lose them or die, they would come back here. I can give you some contacts to reach out to that I myself have not yet tapped. Mostly because I don't know what Temerity was doing. But they would be able to give you some more information over the last few months before she went missing, I'm sure. They are very high, powerful wizards of their own making, so. But you can talk to them.
Under What banner would these contacts be affiliated with? Are these personal connections of your own? Are they contacts you have as a result of the Summer Court? Or are these from the Thorns of the Black Rose?
These are contacts of Temerity's. They are people that she has been... Close is a bad word to use for Temerity's sake. She doesn't get close to many people, but these would be as close as they could get. Like I said, I haven't reached out to them. It wasn't for lack of wanting to, but not knowing what happened, my first instinct was mostly to go looking. I am not the best at sitting down and talking to people. I am more of a let's just go kick in a door and ask and shake some answers out. So I thought not the best thing to do for Temerity's perceived friends, especially considering I don't know what research she was looking into. And if it was late at night, at the library, at the Mage Academy, I would rather not get her into a bind after we fix whatever's happened. And if I go, it will be a problem. I know that about myself. But they're not my people.
So I take it that it would be better for all involved if this partnership were to not be advertised.
It would be better more because you don't want to lay all your cards on the table all at once, yeah?
Certainly. We also don't know which of these contacts may have been part of why Temerity is gone. You mentioned a Rufus that was
Exactly.
meeting with her.
Rufus was meeting with her. As far as my contacts know, they met. I don't know if it was by happenstance, but they met casually, and then began to meet more frequently, and then began meeting late at night at the library. He's missing too. I also cannot find him. I don't know. I don't have a connection to him like I had to Temerity, but I should be able to find him, and I can't.
Mhm.
So, when they got on that ship, either before it left port or somewhere in the ocean, they disappeared. If it was in the ocean, there'd be other people I would be talking to right now. I think whatever's happened, whatever took them, whatever started this, is in Moonhaven. Now, I've had my people do as much as they can there, but we're turning up empty. But they haven't had the contact that you've had, or have the information that you have. So if you're willing, I could send you to Moonhaven to start the search all over again. Right where it started. Right where it all began. Finally get some fucking answers.
Wait, don't send us yet.
You haven't agreed to it yet. But no, I'm not. Yeah, what do you want?
I was hoping I could talk to Telvar.
Oh, you can pull him out the book. You can go talk to him. He's a full person. You can talk to Telvar. He's just a wizard and quiet.
And still standing in the room.
And yet, do either of my points prove false? Anyone? No? Didn't think so.
kind of closes the book a little bit and turns to you, Aura. And he says, yes?
You knew Temerity, correct?
I did.
So do you also know Alatar?
Well, Alatar was not my spellbook, but I do have an acquaintance.
Do you think you might be able to help me decode some stuff?
He kind of frowns and he says, what are you trying to decode?
I'm trying to access the spells in this book, but everything's in code.
He kind of nods a bit and he says, I'm sure I can read what's in there, but some of the more powerful spells that are in there you may not be able to handle yet.
Okay. I mean, yeah, but if you can help me decode some, at least that'd be more than I have now.
Yeah, I can do that. And he kind of stops and he looks back at Lorelei, and then he looks back at Aura and he says, um, I think you're supposed to make a bargain for that, since we are in the Feywild.
She didn't ask me.
Uh, what would you like in return?
You're not a fae, Telvar. You can literally go out the door.
Yes, you're right. The rules of the Feywild are still confusing to me, but I suppose I'm not beholden to them, so I actually
Beholden to them if they talk to me. Or anyone else. They just don't have to be beholden if they talk to you.
right.
Consort.
Which works out because I don't think there's anything else I could really use.
Oh, what, you don't need a 7th tower?
He turns back to Lorelei and he says, he kind of lifts a brow and he says, do you think they're going to be able to construct a tower right now?
It can be a lifelong thing. Goals for the future.
Perhaps
I'm kidding.
one day, yeah.
I am kidding. Fucking. I can't joke with anyone anymore.
He turns back to her and he says, I can decode some of the things in here that perhaps you would be able to access for now. That would be a start. But the magic of
What?
Alatar is that as you grow in your power, so Alatar will be able to reveal these things to you as you go on, too.
He's been extremely uncooperative so far.
He's a bit of a prick for a book.
He does have his own personality.
And that personality is a prick.
Aura will hand over Alatar.
Kind of clears his throat. He looks at Alatar and he says, give me a few moments with him.
Sure.
Anyone else want to ask Telvar something?
I think I am okay.
Not unless he's got turkey legs.
I mean, I got food if you want food.
Is it turkey?
Do you want it to be?
If it's turkey of the land and not of the sea, yes.
Turkey.
You are still very bitter about that.
Yeah.
It wasn't turkey!
Did you get a fish on a stick?
I got a fish on a stick.
I mean, it
He's-
is good, but it's not turkey. I agree
He's
with
still
that.
very mad about it.
I can tell. Look. Alright. She's gonna get up and walk around. A lot has happened. We've had a bunch of discussions. I laid out what I want from you. That's all I want. You're not gonna be... This is not a... I want to know what happened to my friend. I would like the best people out there looking for her. At this point in time, though you are only 11 days into whatever this whole thing is, you are the best people for this job. That's all I want. But here, and she's gonna walk over to this massive table that has these weird blue glowing, what looks like mountains of a caldera of some sort. And as she gets closer to it, things start to move and come alive inside until she lays her hand on the table and it disappears. And in its place is a banquet. And there are turkey legs. You can eat, you can drink, you can talk. One good thing about being where you are right now is that you literally have all the time that you could possibly want. Not too much time, though. I am impatient, but you have time.
The professor wastes very little of that infinite amount of time to come up to the table. And as he's sort of peeking through what's on it, he says, "Do you mind if I ask you a question?
You can ask any questions you want.
This isn't really a request,
Mm.
but I am curious. Is it within the power of an archfey to cleanse the void's corruption?"
I've no idea what you're talking about. What? Something's corrupted?
I would like to think that a good deal of Pelennor is becoming corrupted. But yes. I guess it's a long story. If you're not already privy to it, I don't want to bore you or waste any time. He kind of pulls out his journal from his jacket and he scribbles just a quick note in it and slides it back in. He's like, I guess that kind of answers my question.
She's just gonna tilt her head for a second, staring at the professor.
He turns his head a little bit and looks at her, like uneasy. He's like, "You're kind of doing this," and he tips his head a bit. He says, "I've seen people do that when they have questions that they're not really looking to ask, but do want to know the answer to."
I'm thinking about what questions it is I'm wanting to ask you. Again, as I said, we've got quite a bit of time. What story of this void do you want to tell me?
Well, I guess we have all the time in all the worlds. This
At least
void.
this one.
Well, at least this one. These cultists, the followers of Kargaloth, the Whisperer, all seem to have...
Oh, that's actually the name. I thought Noriko had a sneeze or something in the middle of it. That's actually a name of a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Alright.
Names from the corner of the world, existences we know it, tend to be a little guttural, difficult to pronounce.
Go on.
Anyways, the followers of Kargaloth all have access to this, I don't even know what to call it, it's not really a realm of existence, but more of a space in between from our understanding, called the void. And they draw power from it to do all kinds of spells and magical abilities that aren't really known in the material plane. And as a consequence, using and wielding those things, a corruption occurs to the wielder and to the environment around it.
Let's
I
look
mean,
transmuting them or something.
It's hard to say. He pauses a bit, thinking about whether or not it's in his best interest to be fully upfront. And he's like, "This is the fucking Summer Queen. She'll figure it out if I don't, and that'll probably be more problematic." He's like, "I've been researching it and the impacts of this school of magic on the world and on its wielders. And it seems to me of this theory that the void is kind of hair and out of the bag. And I just have this feeling that there's no putting it back in. So understanding it is our best way of defending against it." Now,
You're not wrong. Can't defend something you don't understand.
he nods, agreeing. Sadly, the only experience that we have with the void is when it's being slung at us or using it ourselves. By ourselves, I mean me, myself.
You
Exactly.
yourself.
Me, yeah. I've been recording my observations, and there is indeed a corruption. And from personal experience, that comes in the form of my ability to channel the weave. It's become, for lack of a better word, slippery.
Because you're using a different type of magic.
Yes. But I mean, wizards use all kinds of different types of magic all the time, but they don't really inhibit the ability to use other magics like this one does.
Well, if I've listened to Telvar talk to himself enough, everything a wizard uses is part of the weave. Is that right, Telvar? He's reading a book. I assume I'm right.
Sorry, could you repeat that question?
Is Telvar saying sorry?
No, I am, because I was going back and forth between stuff.
No, you're good.
And
So
I was
she's
not
gonna.
prepared.
No, it's fine. She says to Telvar, "Isn't it right that a wizard, when they use their magic, they're pulling on? You call it the weave, right?"
Not exactly pulling on it, but they are.
Whatever you do with it, you touch it.
Yes.
All right. See, I was right. Anyway, I don't know the type of magic you're talking about, Professor. But I know what it is you're talking about. I am not good at magic. It's laughable. But since this, she's going to wave around at everything. I've had a better sense of it. I know that there are magics that exist beyond this world. I can feel them, for lack of a better term. Most of it is all part of the same bits and bobs we already use. But I know that the thing that you're talking about places in between pockets of magic that are different. It's real. But if it's you said it's corrupting the people who wield it and the place around it when it's being wielded?
He thinks for a moment and reaches down for a turkey leg, and he kind of holds up his left hand and like rubs the turkey leg over his hand, just revealing like this grease all over his hand. It's like every time it touches something, it leaves a little bit behind. And as you can probably assume, and he picks up like a fork and lets it sort of slip out of his hand because of the grease. Everything that it touches leaves a little bit behind, makes it difficult to do things that you normally take for granted, like this fork. Now, I haven't been able to figure out how to clean the grease off. He kind of looks at the sheen on his hand before just sort of wiping it on his jacket.
I
And
got
chip-
napkins,
right.
man.
It's fine. I know a spell or two, but that's the thing. I haven't been able to find a napkin that can clean the void off of a person or a thing or a place.
That is more troublesome
Indeed.
because you came in here, Noriko asked about the thorns of the Black Rose, which I assume means that you all are, most of you are young, present conversationalist not included in that. You're pretty fucking old.
How do you know?
Please, look at me.
He smirks a bit and he just says, "Go on."
What do you know about the last battle the Thorns of the Black Rose had?
What do I know?
Pretty much everything about the major battle, I mean, is pretty well-known history.
All right.
I think what would be written was it would be known that basically the whole story of the Thorns, they there was the siege on the Citadel. The Thorns went inside. They would later later tell stories of crossing into the Astral Sea and kind of fighting the big bad out there and emerging victorious. And when they did so, anyone else who was under the who was still under the uh, uh, influence of the Dreaming Dark no longer were so.
Okay. He just says, "Well, I was a little preoccupied when that happened, but from the books, just the general story, big battle, dinosaurs, the heroes go into the Citadel, they come out and everyone is all better, no longer under the influence, Citadel falls. The usual, the stuff you find in libraries."
Right. So here's the thing about that last battle. It was against a creature named Vexis. Archfey wannabe that got us ass kicked more than once. Caused a lot of damage along the way though. See, the thing that Vexis was doing is he wanted to take control of magic and replace it with himself. He wanted to become magic, get rid of the weave, eat it all up, and be the only thing left, The new weave, I guess. And you're talking about a magic that is eating holes in the weave and lingering behind. That reminds me an awful lot of what he was doing.
Naruko kind of pulls out some more things from her briefcase. I think that may have actually been the point. Among the things that we found, included some journals written by these followers, some of which would talk about, well, I'll show you. And Naruko will start spreading out the copies that she's been taking down about the stuff, like the journal about Vaxis and that whole thing where some guy named Harold kickstarted Kekebesh and all that junk. I still can't get into Roll20, so I can't actually pull up any of these things to double check what information's in there.
Oh no!
But I'm pretty sure there was a journal about Vaxis where it said something about Vax being a dick and the cultists knew stuff about him, but I don't remember the specifics.
Vaxis. Sorry, I'm not in either. I'm going off of my notes because I jotted down because Roll20's being a bitch to me too. It's talked about his, the Whispering Ones, how he, had fought the Thorns. Yeah, just basically that he's a dick.
Yeah.
Yuki still has all the originals, by the way.
Cool.
Is Yuki offering any of those to Lorelei to look at?
Yeah, she will. If we're sharing information, Yuki will.
Lorelei's going to sit down with those and just page through them. Why is it that you kill someone and they don't stay dead? No offense.
No, I mean, I kind of built a career around it for about 100 years.
Yeah. You got that look about you.
Kind of looks down at his jacket. Like, is it the vest?
No, it's that jaded expression on your face.
Do I look jaded?
But the tails don't, you know.
He looks around like, I don't have tails.
Archfey, true sight.
Hey, I should have.
Yeah, she knew I was a changeling.
Yeah, know a lot of stuff. Fucking weird.
That sounds absolutely overwhelming.
I like to be in this room for a variety of reasons, one of which is that nobody comes in here without knocking first.
Handy.
What else can you tell me about this cult for this Whisperer? Is this cult and the Void together? Is this two separate things happening simultaneously? Or is this cult and this Whisperer person all mixed in?
The cult venerates Kergalath. They are using void magic, the source of which we don't yet know. We suspect that Kergalath may have some power over the void or reside in the void either. It seems as though the cultists believe that Kergalath was banished or imprisoned in some fashion by the gods at the creation of the world. If so, the void, being theoretically a space between spaces, would be such a place a being like that could be sent. As to how he would start dripping in to this plane, we don't know. Talking with the cultists, they also seem to believe a few other, sometimes contradictory things, including things such as there being multiple worlds that are kept apart and that they wish to bring back together. It's possible that some of the effects we're seeing in these mutations, such as people being turned into gnolls or wildlife being twisted in different forms, that could just be void corruption. That could be pieces of these other worlds if they in fact exist. That is still beyond the scope of what we can understand yet, if it's even true. Aside from that, cultists seem to believe that even though it's pretty objectively violent and harmful how these bits of void magic are interacting with our world, they see no problem with this, as bringing all worlds together to collapse in on themselves so that all is ended is their stated goal, because they believe something new and better will be brought in afterwards.
Okay, that's a bit of a thing.
It was a bit of a thing. It
Oh,
continues to be a thing.
all right.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
information to take in at once. Let me start by saying this. There are multiple worlds that exist. Take a
Okay.
moment to take that in. And I'm not talking about this is the Feywild and that's material plane and all the other nonsense of all the different realms. I'm talking about there are multiple worlds that exist. Mind blown, right?
Well, it's
been theorized, but any such magics that could directly confirm such a thing are relegated to such a high level that it basically counts you and anything in the cosmic schema above you, essentially. So, uh, is this something you know because you've been there? Are you Summer Queen to these other worlds too?
There's a moment, and she just goes, "Yeah, there's only one Summer Queen, and in every world it's me, and in every world it's Mab. There are some things that are just one."
This is one of those things you know just because you are what you are. It's not an active engagement for you.
If I wanted to go, I could. In how do I explain this in a way that doesn't sound like I'm an idiot? I exist here right now, and if I wanted to, I would exist there simultaneously because I'm there right now and I'm here right now. And all worlds I'm connected to. I could go at any point in time. I typically am just here in the Feywild. Physically. Because this is where I do all my shit. But there is more to me than just this room. If that makes sense.
Naruko makes an Arcana check to see if that makes sense. Naruko rolled a 32. No, 33.
Jesus Christ.
I rolled a base 18, and with guidance and my racial plus D4 too, both of those were also +4. And then I think I have a +7. I don't have my character sheet open right now, but I think it's a +7. Anyway, yes, it's a lot. So my brain doesn't break, or does it still break?
Narco's smart. She doesn't have to break to get it.
Cool.
Basically, she's a universal constant across multiple worlds.
Okay. Okay.
She can go in and out of any of them as she chooses to.
Okay. That would make sense. Most testimonies that attest to the possibility of multiple worlds do cite travel through the Feywild as being a major component of how they were in different places. The only question was whether or not they actually were in other worlds or were just so far off of the map that it seemed that way. Oh,
Fairy itself is a thing of wild, untamed, uncontrollable magic, shaped by the will and thought and imagination of everybody who's ever lived in it, and whoever will live in it. So yeah,
okay.
get through here, you can kind of go anywhere.
Yeah. And if other worlds do form societies, chances are good they wouldn't follow the same necessary religious traditions, which is possibly why the gods are also more silent on this issue, and the fact that they probably don't exist in the same form elsewhere, so they wouldn't have that same clarity of the connection.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
the gods are a weird thing because the gods are, again, all based on belief. And I went into Jade's
Which,
voice for a second for some reason. Yeah, they just sometimes they're not even aware of themselves as themselves and each other. Makes for weird parties.
I see. Okay.
But
Okay.
but they do. But what I'm saying is they do exist. These other worlds. These other worlds do exist. They're there. If there is a space between the worlds with and between the weave that connects all the worlds, and they've found one of these ancient magics, because it's not just one. There's a bunch of different magic out there, and one of them is corruptive. And what do you mean by? I know, Professor, kind of what you're talking about. It's sticking here. It's not going away. What do you mean by corrupting, though? Like, what is it actually doing?
Well, besides tainting my ability to use offensive magic, what
Tainting
we've
it how?
making it difficult. You see, for example, innately as a kitsune, I am able to. And he kind of summons like this mote of blue fire above his hand. It's like, I would typically throw fire at an enemy, but what I'm finding is that my grip on that, and this mote is just kind of flickering in and out. And he says, my offensive spells are not resolving the way that I would normally expect to, making it a little bit more difficult to get the end result that I'm looking for. As far as the environment around us, we've seen biomaterial that living things like plants, for example, who aren't necessarily sentient in itself, once touched by the void, gaining sentience, or at least the illusion of sentience, growing teeth and eyes and claws and getting very angry.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Does
Well,
this all make sense? You need like a demonstration or something.
No, I get it. What's it doing to you? You said you're the one wielding it, other than making it harder for you to magic things to hurt them.
So far, that's it.
But you say it's a corruption.
Well, that's what we've settled on calling it. I wouldn't say it's a corruption of my character or my ability to control the weave in an offensive way. It hasn't seemed to impact other things like Shield of Faith or anything that bolsters people or impacts things in a way that.
So it's not affecting you protecting or healing, but it's affecting you making, well, like you said, offensive spells. It's not letting you hit as hard.
Yeah.
Well, Professor, the only spell of void origin that you have access to at the moment is one that causes offensive disruption to your targets.
Yeah, that's true. It feels almost as if using the void is causing it to want to be used in that way. So the one spell that I happen to have is an offensive spell. So it seems like it's trying to replace my offensive spells.
So not so much a corruption as a replacement.
Yeah.
It wants to take over whatever it is you're doing originally. Yeah, that sounds a little too close to home, if I'm being honest, friends. Replacing magic with something else. Magic itself, I've come to learn, is not inherently anything. It's not good, it's not evil, it's not. It just is. That being said, doesn't mean it doesn't have a will or doesn't want to be used, especially if this is something that's been trapped away for who knows how long.
Yes, the subtle intricacies of how the void impacts this world is still not really understood, given the limited abilities that I have to research it. Just figured.
Are you sure that it's actually you're drawing on like a magic and not like clerics and such get their abilities from gods? That's a different type of magic. That doesn't come from the weave per se. You sure you haven't tapped into something else?
No. He kind of screws up his face. Like, no, I'm not sure.
Interesting that. And you said that this cult, they want to smash all the worlds together and what? Unleash the void magic across the whole thing and destroy it all? Is it destroying stuff when you use it?
No, not really. In fact, he kind of pauses for a moment. He's like, when we spoke to the person whose name I can't remember because I've had 2 drinks of whatever the hell that was.
You drank on Leviathan.
Yeah, we won't be doing that again until at
Oh,
least.
you should.
Seem the cultists are keenly interested in the concept of balance. And he kind of looks to Yuki and puts up like apologetic hands. Like, their concept of balance does not really align with how most other people see it. But
Their concept of balance is an aberration.
What do you mean?
well, Yuki here is very in tune with the notion of balance. The cultist notion of balance seems a little more dark, but not entirely off. For example, the Void Rift, this one spell that I'm capable of commanding, it is a damaging spell, a spell capable of destruction, but in the same breath, in the same casting, it also breathes life into things that would not normally have it.
Life which does appear to be, if not outright enraged at the prospect, at least heavily distressed to the point where they go berserk and are largely uncontrollable, even to these followers who have been devoting themselves entirely to the sort of magic.
This is true.
As I
That's
said,
my
an aberration.
main concern is not whether or not void magic inherently is a destructive or a growth entity. It's more the fact that whatever it's doing seems to be incompatible with kind of the biology of our world.
I mean, you're not wrong if what it's doing is what you're saying it's doing. There's a reason the Feywild is the Feywild. There's a reason it's here. You can't have it run amok in the same vein of the material plane. It would cause just as much damage. Hey, you can have a Fey go there and we can cast magic and whatnot, but it's compatible enough that it's not ripping the world apart, but we have our own world for that very reason.
I think
Celestials have the gods live on their own plane for the same reason. And also because they're fucking pricks and can't get anything right anyway, so might as well not even be part of it.
Yes. I think I think what the cultists might envision is that if they took all of the various worlds and blended them together, merged them all into one thing, that they would get some sort of greater than the sum of its parts, like a conglomeration of all of the greatness of all these different things. But I can't help but think back to these knolls that we found outside of Rockdale, where once they got the void within them, they just became an infection, something that would find other beings and then turn them into just more of themselves if they didn't outright slaughter them. I think what they would do instead is they would just find these various worlds and turn them all into just one same conglomeration of this void, this mass of twisted flesh and anger.
Lovely image you paint there.
Yuki shivers a little as you describe that.
When did you come across these the first time?
The first bit of void
the
magic?
book? Yeah.
Well, I think the first confirmed we have would be when Professor, you examined the residue of magic in the bottom of Crystal Cove and acquired Jeffrey.
Jeffrey.
Professor points at Jeffrey.
Oh. Not gonna lie. I thought there was a dog.
You like strawberries.
Oh.
Like a tentacly, spindly, creepy
I
dog that doesn't
wasn't
bark.
really paying attention. I just thought I saw something with a hat and thought, oh, you put a little hat on your dog. Here, Jeffrey. And she'll like put down a bowl of strawberries.
Jeffrey reaches out with face tentacles and to pull the bowl closer to them and kind of holds it and like looks at the strawberries and then just kind of looks back up at Professor and cocks his head.
Go ahead.
There is
Right.
absolute joy in Jeffrey's eyes as he starts to like kind of dig into the strawberries.
You know it's hard to get rid of them once you start feeding them.
That's a. What is it?
Oh, to the best of my estimations, that is a very small member of the species, Jeffrey. I don't know anything about them other than they are capable of becoming very, very large and terrifying. This one's very small and almost cute.
The hat doesn't help the cuteness. It makes it cuter.
I didn't put that.
Okay.
You already wore that.
That raises more questions. But all right. So what you're saying is, when you use this void magic, it is corruptive to your own magic in a sense that it's trying to replace it, but also corruptive around in the area you're casting it because it's turning things to life. Caveat to that is that you have someone from the void, and it's not doing the same thing.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
There was this one night where he was just sort of floating above me while I was sleeping, and I had this really weird dream, and that's when the void spell appeared in my spell book.
So he
It
gave
doesn't
you a spell, or he was part of your dream?
I don't know. He didn't. He says he didn't put it in there, but it was really weird that I opened my eyes and there he was, right above my face. He also wasn't in my dream.
Or were you distressed in your sleep?
I don't think so.
I
I'm
don't
distressed enough to create a new spell using a school of magic I've never used before. Because
No, I mean
how do I
distressed
get
enough
to
to make
again?
your little Jeffrey check on you. Oh, that's why I was hanging above your head.
Maybe he was holding my book,
Oh, well,
and he showed
nope,
me this
I don't know.
one.
But he didn't put it in there. Your dream did?
You didn't put it in there, right? You still hold to that, Jeffrey?
Jeffrey looks up at you with just a mouthful of strawberries. You see just big puppy dog eyes.
I don't think he did it.
Okay.
I think it's more like, hey, look what happened to your book. I want to show you. Like, good dog. You're the ugliest golden retriever I've ever met.
That's
Be
rude.
nice to Jeffrey.
I'm nice to Jeffrey. He shares a bed with me. He gets creepy in the night and floats over your head, and I only mildly accuse him of being creepy, even when he's being super creepy.
It is all right, Jeffrey. We understand you are still trying to learn our customs.
Okay.
They really like him. It's going to be really unfortunate if Jeffrey somehow turns out to be truly nefarious in some way. It's going to be absolutely devastating to all of us. You better not turn out to be a monster of some sort, or like a really small avatar, Kargaloth the Whisperer himself. Are you an avatar?
Jeffrey scratches his head with one of his face tentacles.
Yeah,
am I missing something? I'm not hearing that talk.
he's not talking. He's my familiar. I just know what he's saying, what he means.
Oh. Yeah, it's more magic stuff that I don't really understand.
They have some sort of connection where they make sense to each other. And Yuki shrugs.
Connection. Not like the connection that Ren and I have because we're the best friends of all time, but like this weird connection where I just happen to understand him. I couldn't tell you.
Okay. Well, this raises more problems. I brought you here because of temerity. But if you said you first experienced this at Crystal Cove, is this again, and the cultists and the void are all together, and these cultists are what are directing the other pieces of temerity?
That seems to be the case.
Alright, this is just became a lot bigger than me keelhole and someone for all eternity.
Yeah, we were actually kind of hoping that you were already up to speed on the various void things. And that
I'll
was
have... No,
more...
but I can
yeah.
be. This is going to require more than me, though. I'm going to have to... I'm going to have to talk to Mab. Oh, she's just going to love that. Anyway, alright. If this cult and these papers you've given me are as widespread as it seems, based on the information Yuki provided from her journal and these papers that Noriko provided here, they're already going to Avril. I got reports of temerity being spotted not just by the Garnet Hand, but by the Red Hoods and the Shoe Shiners, who are also part of my bit of collective that I've got going on down there. I will send word to them as well. Although maybe I shouldn't, because if they're already... I'll have to think about that. If this is part of a bigger conspiracy than just someone wanted to utilize a very high, powerful wizard for reasons unbeknownst, I think this contract might need to go a lot longer.
With
It's
a
an unfortunate time.
corresponding increase into the amount of aid being offered to our cause.
Yes, instead of what I originally planned. I think you all need to tour the gallery. Would you care to accompany me?
Well, I,
What
for one, am just dying to know what's in the gallery.
what kind of gallery?
Oh, you'll see.
Okay.
It's like that false wall from Red and Black that just flips over and it's just like a wall full of guns.
Nariko just gets big stars in her eyes. Agrees to everything Lorelei asks of her from then on.
Yeah. Lorelei actually does walk over here. Pardon. Excuse me. No, it's all right. I'm gonna move. I'll move back here. That's fine. Everything's fine. And this wall disappears. Joe, would you like to go ahead and describe the gallery?
What you see open up before you, it is very much a Men in Black situation. There is a small room, enough room for everyone to fit in comfortably, but there are some different items that are lined kind of all around in this area, and some of them their purposes are obvious, some of them not so much. Some of them just seem to be just weird odds and ends that Lorelei seems to like. But there's a bit of a gallery of uh, different looking items on display.
As part of our contract, I said I would give you tools to help you. Originally, those tools were going to be money, transportation, contacts, a call on me if you so needed it. Now that there is much more at stake, I think you might need a few upgrades to what you have right now. If you would step into the gallery, I will allow you to peruse it, and whatever speaks to you, you may take with you, and you may keep to the end of your days.
Like literally speaks.
I mean, some of them talk, but it's more the one that draws you. The things in this room are deceptively ordinary. No, they're not ordinary. If we have a deal, and you will find Temerity, find out what happened to her, and keep me abreast of the situation with this network of cultists so that we may deal with them, I would be happy to provide you with whatever you need from this room, get you where you need to go, offer whatever information I can offer you, and whatever contacts that I might come across, not just the ones that I already knew about.
Nariko looks to the rest of her companions. She says, we're more or less already of a mind to commit to this. The only difference is now we have a pretty powerful ally backing us up. I think it's worthwhile, but I'll take your input.
I mean, we were going to be doing this anyways. Why not take the extra help?
I agree.
As do I.
I'm gonna offer a free tip. If you're good at something, don't do it for free. Even if you're gonna do it for free. Say you're not gonna do it for free, even if you plan to, and then get a little bit of something for yourself. Just gonna throw that out there. Just world advice.
Naruto smiles. There's always a profit to be made, but don't underestimate. Sometimes goodwill can buy things even money can't get you.
Yeah, sure. Goodwill's all well and good until you run out. And you're alone without something to guard your back. Luckily, you have me to do that. So, in the room with you, if you all so agree. I heard everyone say agreed. I'm gonna need to hear you actually say yes. We agree to the contract.
What
Have
if-
not heard from Jade or Aura.
What happens if we can't find your temerity?
That is what I stipulated to the best of your abilities. I fully believe she is still somewhere. And I will find her. Eventually. It will not reflect poorly on you, and it will not break our contract, and it will not have any repercussions on you, the Mystic Mechanicus, or anyone that you care about if you cannot locate her. I kind of don't like that you put in there anyone we care about, because they're not really signing any contracts. Yeah, but it's to put you at ease more than anything. Just to putting that out there that no matter what happens, the people you care about are safe from me in this endeavor. Okay. Not for nothing, but your thing wouldn't really be a problem anyway. Jay just kind of gets closer to Nariko.
Still haven't heard from Aura. Agrees or not.
I will agree to the contract.
Alright. Unanimous decision. Naruto states that I, Naruto von Grutzner, on behalf of the Mystic Mechanicus, accept your term.
As you say that, there is a sudden weight against your chest, as well as everyone else's in here, that sits for just a moment and then is gone as if it never was. Bargain accepted. Feel free to peruse the gallery.
As the bargain is accepted, or you'll note from Telvar working with Alatar that Alatar begins to glow a little bit more intensely, and you see Telvar kind of blinks the brightness away, and you see he nods, and he says, interesting. He turns to you, Aura, he hands Alatar back, and he says, Altar has agreed to reveal some of the spells that were in that Temerity had written in here for your use. Some that you can use now, and there will be some that will be revealed to you later when you become powerful enough to use them.
Oh, did you were able to convince him to do that?
It appears that the bargain that you all made was the final push in his decision. He seems to want to be reunited with Temerity.
Okay. Well, I would say the T word, but I can't hear, so. Yep.
Nice.
I understand. I'm going to message you with the spells that are currently revealed to you and what you will be able to get for gratis later.
Sweet.
Alright. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm excited to see what's behind door number 1.
Hey,
I hope it's a pony. You think there's a pony back there?
It's an axe beak.
Ren
Yeah.
gives you a sideways look.
What?
Really?
I only have 2 legs. They get tired sometimes.
You
this
have
is
2 tails as
Feywild.
well.
This is the Feywild. Anything could be in there. There could be a pony in there.
It's true, stuff goes missing from in there all the time.
Has the pony ever gone missing? Is it okay?
I mean, the pony that I have is a statue. Sometimes it goes missing. Most of the time it's back.
Is it a large statue? Like, can you like sit upon it like you're riding a real horse?
No.
Missed opportunity.
I
Does
didn't
the
make
pony-
the statue.
Does the pony have a name?
It's Gus.
Yes.
Well,
good
off we
night.
go. Artificer wants more magic items. Gimme.
As you each step into the room, it's a small room. It's tiny, almost. Big enough for everyone to stand inside of, but small. Until you begin to walk into it. And the room itself seems to get bigger. More ornate. With different wings and pieces of it illuminated and shadowed as you go through. Have fun! And Lorelei will not follow you in to the room.
So as you walk into the gallery and you kind of look about, the light seems to shift and move in patterns, and it kind of glits and gleams off of the different strange items that are in this room. But as Lorelei foretold, there is one item in this room that each of you will become drawn to. I'll go through the list in the order in which I wrote it, which is in no particular order. Jade, as your eyes adjust to what is going on in this room, you see what your gaze happens to fall upon is a dagger. It is ornately forged, has a like a purplish gem kind of set into its handle. Nice leather scabbard and all that. As you walk up to it, it smells of earth, like fresh rain and grass. What do you do as you approach it?
So Jade's gonna get closer to it, and she's just gonna call it. We're sure that this is okay.
What you hear a response in your head, Jade. It is a familiar voice to you. You hear, well, of course it's okay. And the voice that you hear is that of your grandmama coming from the dagger.
Jade immediately grabs it.
Jade, you are
Huh?
now. Oh, hello? You seem a bit tense, dearie. I think you could use someone to watch your back, yes? I know you have David with you, but an extra set of eyes can never hurt, yes?
Yeah. How did you? Yeah.
Jade, you are the proud owner of a dagger of warning.
My anxiety needs this.
Yes, warn me about more things I should be afraid of.
Now it'll warn me before I have to worry about it. Oh, that's awesome.
Yuki,
Hey.
as you move about the space, and it feels very peaceful to you in here. And it's reminds you of being kind of in the back of the monastery in the mountains. You feel like a little bit more focused. You feel
Mm.
more in tune with yourself. And as you kind of close your eyes, you take a breath, you open again, and what you see is a very finely detailed belt made of some kind of leathery material. Do you approach it?
I do.
What does Yuki do as she gets closer?
I think Yuki will um, approach the belt and she'll kind of cock her head a little bit and do that cat thing where her ears do the radar a little. Um, and I think she'll reach out with one little toe bean and she'll kind of trace the detail work on the belt, almost like she is drawn to doing it.
Give me a nature or a survival check.
Let's see. Nature's plus threes. You said nature or survival?
Yep.
Cool. They're both plus three. But I have proficiency in nature, so let's try that. All right.
It's made of a sturdy kind of leather. Um, One that you're not particularly familiar with, but you feel like could have molted off of something powerful and ancient and wise.
Hmm.
And you can kind of feel that sense of self and wisdom coming off of it.
I think Yuki will kind of like look around, like, is this fucking happening? Um, and then I think she'll pick the belt up and investigate it a little more.
Yuki, you are the proud owner of a +1 Dragonhide belt.
Oh.
Nice.
Professor, you're a man of study, you're a man of knowledge, you're a man of curiosities. You look around this room, you kind of study a lot of the things in here, a lot of things very very rare, but stuff doesn't really seem to catch your attention. You can kind of point things out here and there as you go along, but there is one item that really draws your eye. Um, it is a set of boots. They are made of a fine leather. They're trimmed in gold. They have like the little like jester kind of toe kicks to them at the edge of the toes. Something that doesn't really register as something that you've seen before.
He just kind of stares at them for a moment. He's like, "What in the blazes?" And he will pick them up and look them over.
As you pick them up, they sprout wings off of the heels.
Oh, little wingy boots. Well, that's cute.
And wingy boots they are.
Perhaps they will help your tired feet.
Oh, then I wouldn't need 4 more. He tucks them under his arm and he says, "Might have to do something about these weird jester toes, but I'm taking these." He walks back out with them.
I don't care.
Aura with Alatar gripped in hand and some newly gained knowledge. You look around this room. The thing that seems to catch you is a simple ring. It's the kind of ring that you can fit over 2 fingers comfortably. Like there's like a ring for each, like a ring hole for each finger connected to each other. They are engraved with little arcane symbols and sigils all around it. And as you kind of scan the room and you see this ring, the light kind of makes it glow in a bit of a reflection, a little bit of a like a twinkle catches your eye.
Aura will walk up to it, look at it for a second, walk over to the side, like walk up over it and like here on the back side of it.
As you look this
And
thing over,
then,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
go ahead.
Say as you look this thing over, you can feel magic radiating from it.
I will go ahead and slide it on.
What you have, Aura, is a ring of spell storing, already charged with these spells.
Ooh. Well, I know that one, but I'm gonna have to figure out what this other one does.
Ren, being a visage of a god of death, you kind of look around this room and there is a kind of item that you seem intensely drawn to. It is a pendant, nothing big, small enough that you could wear it on a chain around your neck or even just kind of keep it on your person somewhere. It can be easily stored away. But what you notice is that this pendant is in the shape of a death mask.
We'll trot right up to it. I like this. It suits my aesthetic.
As you pick it up, it is golden. You can kind of look it over, turn it around. This thing is old. Looks like it's been around for quite a long time.
Mm. Ancient. I do like this. Does it have a clasp on the necklace chain?
Yeah.
Oh, good, because nothing's going over these horns. Put it on.
Ren, you have picked up a +1 amulet of the devout.
Oh,
Ooh.
fuck.
Finally, Naruko. A lot of stuff in here. A lot of rings. There's clothing. There's, some other weapons that you've grown more fond of your firearms than being able to use these things. But there is something that kind of piques your curiosity. On a pedestal with a light shining right down on it, bright blue handle made of some kind of gem. It is a simple screwdriver.
Naruto stares at it for a few moments, and she looks at it. She's like, a single screwdriver. It doesn't even. I don't even see drill bits for it to do multiple sizes. What does it do? Naruto will pick it up to examine.
As you pick it up, you realize that it is not as simple as it looks. This thing can kind of bend and mold to your will. You can almost shape this thing into pretty much whatever you really want it to do. You have found a +1 all-purpose tool.
What is that?
Sweet. Now that everybody got their things, what was gonna happen if I had failed that throw?
I guess you'll never know.
Motherfucker! Douchebag.
Choose a cantrip you don't know from any class list. Mm. Mm.
Dude.
That can be fun. Okay. Naruto kind of attunes herself to this. She sort of like gives it a spin and it turns into a wrench. Then she spins it again and it turns into like a small welding torch. And then she spins it again. Suddenly it's like a small knife that has like 5 other knives and a corkscrew and a can opener all popping out. And she just looks over at Arby and is like, well, this is going to save me a lot of space in the backpack.
What's your point, Naruto?
Naruto kind of pulls out her strange little screwdriver. She clicks a button and it kind of like pops out a little bit and the crystal glows. And she says, I found some sort of multi-tool. I think it'll be very handy.
It looks like a single tool.
Yes, well, it could become a lot of tools. Actually, it could literally turn into any, like, she starts, like, fiddling with the functions, and it turns into, like, a smith's hammer and tongs, and she clicks it again. It turns into, like, an alembic and a mortar and pestle. She's like, I can do things with this. She, like, tinkers again. Suddenly it's like a set of lockpicks.
Wow. That's amazing.
I believe Naruto's item in the long run will become the most dangerous.
Oh yes, because this isn't just an item, this is a tool. A tool that is very refined and magical, which I can use to make better tools, which in turn will create better tools, and soon I can just fix all of the problems, and then everything will be... I think the room is affecting me. There's a lot of magical items, and I'm going to step outside now.
Does
This
yours
is when
talk to
Naruto
you?
starts her villain arc.
Narco stops and she like looks at the tool and says, "Hello."
There's no response.
Okay, good.
Alright.
No, did not talk to me in the. Jay, does yours talk to you?
Oh, yeah. It's my grandmama. Which is weird that she's here and a dagger in this room.
Yeah. Did you ask her why?
Nope. Grandmama,
Yes.
why are you a dagger right now? Did you get turned into a dagger?
No.
Then how are you here? Because right now you're a dagger.
There is kind of a pause, and you just hear the simple word, magic.
She just says it's magic, but she's not actually a dagger. Oh, this is a dagger, but she's not a dagger. But she says she's going to watch out for me and warn me of danger.
Okay, Narco is too concerned at this point. She's going to just touch. Can I just touch the dagger for a second?
Oh, of course, yeah.
I'm casting Identify. Why is dagger grandma?
Why is Grandma?
Why is Grandma? Hang on. Give me a second.
Is this just a feature of the Pelennor campaign setting? Is that all weapons of warning take the voice of whatever your most recent maternal caretaker?
Come on. I love that trick.
Well,
Because I mean, in my universe, they just sing instead and rhyme, and it's really annoying. So.
So, definitely a dagger of warning. Not like it's definitely not like haunted or possessed or anything like that. It's just happens to have. You get the impression it just happens to have taken on a voice that is familiar to Jade that she finds comfort in.
Oh, okay. Jade, the dagger is not actually Grandmama.
Yeah.
When you connect to it, as part of its job of helping to forewarn you of danger, it selects whatever would be sort of the most calming personage in your memory to affect.
Oh, she looks a little disappointed. Well,
But-
that's still nice, though.
Yeah, and it's drawing off your memories of her, so it really is like whatever she would have said in this situation. As far as you think that.
That's nice.
Yeah. I just didn't want you to get confused or concerned over the status of Grandmama.
I did get a little concerned when I suddenly realised that she was a dagger, and then she had disappeared before. But it's fine. You said she's not actually a dagger. It's just the dagger sounds like her, so
Yes.
that's okay. While we're still here in this room, are you okay?
Me?
Yeah.
I think so. Was I worrying you?
No, it's just that a lot happening all of a sudden. There's been a lot of information, and you were doing a lot of talking, and had a contract written up, and I just want to make sure you're okay. That's all.
I honestly, compared to the last few days, just having a new face to meet who is supportive of our endeavors is very refreshing.
Yeah. Do you think I should tell her about the books, or should I not tell her about the books?
Which books? We have a lot of books right
The
now.
volume, the ones that the bard wrote about them. She would want them.
And you can mention it. I don't know. I'm sure there's no end to stories that have been written about her exploits. Is is the bard particularly notable? Does he provide a lot of details that seem like really personal, like it might have been one of her compatriots who did so, or
I have no idea. There's a lot in the books. So maybe.
well, bring it up. See if she has any interest in it. We have time. I don't intend for us to leave until we have exhausted all of the use that we can get out of this new patron.
That's probably a good idea.
You can go first. I have a couple things to talk with her about, but they're not pressing at all.
Okay, sure. Catch up with everybody else. Is everyone else? How is everyone else doing? Is everyone else okay?
I have accessorized.
Oh, you have a nice necklace.
I believe it is a powerful pendant, in tune with my abilities.
That's great.
I hope it will be helpful.
I hope so too.
Yuki's just been kind of like adjusting her belt and kind of like figuring out how she wants to wear it amongst her robes. I believe I am all right.
Good. That's great.
Are you all right, Jade?
Oh, yeah, I'm good. I got a dagger. It sounds like my grandmama. It's not actually her. But it's nice to hear her voice.
That must be very comforting.
Yeah. I only knew of her a little bit, but she was very capable and very nice.
Is she the one that told you to go to the siren song?
Well, I mean, she wrote it down for me in my journal.
Seems like looking out for you is something that she's very good at.
Yeah, I mean, all my sisters, they had good experiences, so.
I'm glad that knife or that dagger called out to you then.
Me too. Oh, what about you, Professor? Aura? What did you find?
I might have found the Feywild's most ugly boots. But they've got wings, and I'm pretty sure that I can fly with them. I can find a way to make them look better, but how cool are these? He kind of kicks down on a heel, and they kind of flutter up, and he raises up a couple feet off the ground before just dropping back onto his feet. Like, yeah, that's going to be fun.
Does this mean next time you will go up to allow the lightning to strike you instead of waiting for it on a roof?
But if I did that, then all my friends would have nothing to give me problems about, would I?
Not a thing, because you would descend into the next world when you fell.
I would hate to rob you the blessing of have something to rib me about at every turn.
Do not worry, I will traverse to the underworld to visit my best friend.
Oh, that's really nice. Which underworld?
Whichever one he is in, I will find him.
Oh, you probably wouldn't have to go too far. I know where I'm going.
Oh,
How reassuring.
I don't want to spoil all the secrets. You'll have nothing to learn about me at like level 10 or anything.
Okay. Oh, well, everyone has a secret. Oh, what did you find?
I found this nifty ring, and she holds her hand up.
Oh, it's really pretty.
Yeah, and it has the ability to or store spells.
Well, that's great.
Even has a few in it. I gotta figure out what this one does, though.
Oh, which one?
I
How
don't
do
know.
you know?
I'm not familiar with it.
Oh. Well, we could probably ask.
Oh, that's a good point. Lorelei might know.
Yeah. Or wizard consort friend.
Oh, yeah. Oral will go over to Lorelei first. Excuse me?
Lorelei has taken her seat back at her desk, and she seems to be staring at the wall when you come back. But she turns her head to look at you. Like an Attica.
Yes. I was wondering if you could tell me what spells are in here. I know there's a magic missile and an ice knife, but I don't know what the other one is.
I can try.
Sure. And she'll hand the ring over.
I will look at it. Does my fayness allow me to know what spells are in here?
Oh, that is a good question. Let's see.
You just hold it out. Tell her, touch it.
I'm about to.
Why else have a wizard on staff?
Exactly. This is what you get paid for. He's like, you don't pay me.
Allow you to live. For.
Pay you in love.
Yeah, I think you need Telvar to translate that.
She's just gonna look at it. Telvar. Catch it. She throws the ring to Telvar.
Telvar. Telvar will catch it with a mage hand. Pull it towards him.
Tell Aura what's in the stone or ring or whatever it is.
His eyes close. He casts a spell, and he'll kind of shoot Lorelei a glance as he walks over to Aura and hands it to her nicely.
What?
He says, "There's a first level casting of Mage Missile. There's a first level casting of Ice Knife, and a second level casting of Shatter."
Shatter sounds destructive. I don't know that spell, but I'll be careful.
Sephi used to do that one.
Thunder Magic, Area of Effect.
Super loud.
Right.
We'll
Okay.
give away your position, so don't use it if you're trying to be stealthy.
Good to know.
Jade will come out of the room too with her stuff. Miss Lorelei, I found something. I appreciate the opportunity to look through the things in the room. I wanted to know, did you know that you have a book written about you from the Bard, and did you want the books to read for yourself in case you haven't? Because I know they don't have a lot of copies And I thought maybe you would like that. Lorelei just looks at her. And her eyes drift down for a second to stare, at her chest before they come back up. And there's a bit of a sad look to her eyes, but she gives her a very slight smile and says, I'm well aware of the bard. No idea how he keeps writing. They keep writing what they're writing, but very kind offer. I am good, though. Happy to see you found something that you like from my gallery. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I will just take this and go over here. Just gonna go stand with Aura. The rest of you get everything that you wanted. Or that you didn't know you wanted, but you got anyway.
Something like that.
Yes, there was something that called to me.
Good. Be a really poor gallery if it didn't have something for everyone.
May I ask how these items come into your possession?
Some I find. Most I take.
Hmm.
Sometimes they just end up here. Some are very old, and this is not their first bargain made. And when their usefulness has ended, the items come back here.
I hope you may put this to good use and perhaps give it some more power to use in the future.
You can, like I said, you can hold on to it for as long as you... Well, I guess in your instance, live in is not really an appropriate term, but until you pass on to another world.
I appreciate the distinction.
Semantics are important, even if you're not a Fae.
Hmm.
And just to be clear, because we're talking about semantics, when I say the usefulness has run out, I mean the item's usefulness to you, not your usefulness to me or the item itself.
I did indeed believe that. I find I take quite a charitable view of you, despite the chaos that comes from your realm.
I'm hopeful that some of the chaos is a little bit more contained than it used to be, but I've only been at it for a few decades, so
Time to learn.
that is what I'm told. Well, now that the business is out of the way, I meant what I said. You have as much time here as you would like. It is the one place you're going to be able to go you're going to be able to get like that. So, please, can't say that. Feel free to rest and relax, enjoy the food, enjoy the break. And if you want to talk about anything else, I'm here. And when you are ready, I will send you where you need to go.
I think there would be just a couple topics I'd like to discuss with you briefly, Lorelei.
Of course.
First would be the orphanage in Dumdaral.
Sarith's.
Indeed. I'm sure you already know, but it remains in good hands with her there.
I would hope so, considering that she keeps getting a stipend.
It was very much a help to me when I lost my parents and needed to stay there briefly.
It's unfortunate, the need, but I'm glad that it was able to provide you with a place to call home, even if it was only briefly.
I wanted to know, I know stories of the Black Rose. My mother was a good friend of Brother Edward. Did you have the chance to meet my mother during your travels?
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
Which mother are we talking about?
Oh,
I'm just
good
making
question.
sure. Are we talking about the birth mom or Katerina?
That's a good
Because
question. That is a good distinction to make.
I'm just making sure.
I assumed Katerina.
I'm assuming Katerina as well, but just in case.
Yeah. Nariko's intent when she said that was Katerina.
Was Katerina? Okay, just making sure. I've met Katerina a few times. This was before all of this. Clever bitch.
Nariko like smiles and winces at the same time at that phrase. It's like, uh, yes,
Right, you act a lot older than you actually are, and I fucking live in a realm of ageless creatures. You're only like what, 20? Still a baby?
16.
That is even younger. Okay, I feel less good about everything that we just talked about. I'm still gonna do it, but I feel less good about it. Yes, okay. Your your mum is very clever and skilled, and she knows how to get what she wants. I see she taught you well.
I'm sure she'd be happy to hear it. I So you've never had any um, dealings with her, or sent any assistance her way after you took up position in the summer court?
In what way are you thinking?
Um, well, it seemed like when Mother was searching for an heir to adopt, she may have had some foreknowledge or idea about me when coming to the orphanage. I didn't. I don't know if that's just her her gut feeling doing well for her, or if perhaps you know someone had given her a tip. Just curious is all.
I endeavor to make sure that every person who comes through the doors finds a home that can offer them the things that a home should. I do not have a direct hand in any of it. Though I do make it possible for some good fortune to fall the way of those who do adopt out. If you're asking, though, did I influence Katerina or send her to you, the answer to that is no. Whatever your mother saw in you was her own. And she went there. I don't make or influence anyone to go there. It's just that the people who go through those doors cannot go in them if they do not have good intentions in their heart.
Good intentions. Okay. Huh. I wouldn't think that you had conscripted people to adopt out, as it were. There wouldn't be any orphans left, I would imagine. But I didn't know if perhaps she had made contact with you for such purposes or any of that. But it seems like that's not the case. So
No, I haven't been in touch with Katerina since Edward passed. I've seen her, but we were never close. The few times I met her, she left an impression.
okay.
And maybe a little bit of good luck fell her way after she left with you, but
That's helpful. Thank you. Damn it!
ah,
Are you okay?
oh, it's
I
fine.
got cursed to. I'm not having. I was doing so well.
To be fair, definitely worth a curse. It's all right. Let's see. As an exchange, as I gave you information, you can give me some information, and our debt will be square. Do you accept?
Only if I am under no obligation. If it is a question I am unable to answer.
If you can't answer it, it's because you don't have the information. No, you will not be. You will not. It's not going to compel you to answer something that you don't know, and you're under no obligation to come up with an answer to something you have no idea of either.
Sure. Let's get this out of the way.
Great. You went to the orphanage when you were little. What improvements can be made from a personal experience of something that was close to you?
Oh, personal experience. So while I was not as skilled with tools as I am today, small little Naruto was still very, very capable of jimmying open the locks on the windows at night in order to attempt to run away.
Mm.
That might need some fixing.
Oh, you all get out all the time. Do believe me when I say that you do not go alone.
Let's see. There's a shadow dragon on staff for guard.
Sprinkles.
They seemed happy for a chance to get out and stretch their wings and help us destroy some Dorgar, but I find them to be satisfactory as far as defense goes. Caretaker is wonderful. Um, I'll be honest, I find very little at fault, if anything, at the orphanage that I think could be generally improved.
That's all well and good from a 16-year-old Nariko standpoint, but from a little girl who was there, what would have made you a little bit happier to have? Workstation? More things to play with? A treehouse? Place to go to be alone? So you didn't have to go out through the window at night?
Tiny little Nariko wouldn't be able to tell you what she needed because she just didn't understand. She, I think perhaps the last thing you said is some sort of small place where they could retreat to process without these strange adults that they've never met before, kind of standing over them and trying to make them understand something as different as death. And children are children. They can try and be welcoming, but it's hard for them to get along and sort themselves out right at the start, so you can't always be guaranteed to have understanding there. But yes, I think some sort of spot where they can be safe and secluded and let those emotions work out. That's sort of what I found, although I was in an alleyway while it was snowing, behind a tavern. Not exactly the safest place to be, although I suppose I was watched at the time. But
Everyone needs to run away sometimes.
So I suppose if a closet or some easily overlooked doorway happens to bring you to a small retreat with a little bit of Fey influence, you take them away for a bit. Perhaps that would help. I like how Narco is just suggesting, like, why don't you just like take the wardrobe from Narnia and like put it in your orphanage?
Just
So that
put
your
it
children-
into a safe place where they can go and run into a fawn and an evil witch.
But they'll have a little growing of age journey, and they'll be able to like put things into perspective and get over their trauma.
Yeah.
You know, but nothing could go wrong with that.
A place that they can go to be alone, to process things, and to take the time they need while no time passes at all is something that I can do. It's a very keen insight, Noriko. I am sure all those still at the orphanage would appreciate that foreknowledge. And our debts have now been cleared. And that little weight that came when you said thank you, you can feel it lift off.
See, this is what I meant before about needing practice.
You're not wrong. It takes a bit. I am not the best at it. Which is great when pixies are around.
No, thank you. Considering prior favors, including things such as the orphanage, it's not the worst thing to have a small debt to pay off, but
Not good to make a habit of it.
no. I suppose the only other thing would be, are you aware of my errand mission that I am running for Mother?
You mean the reason you're going to April in the first place?
Before all the other stuff happened, yes.
I am aware.
Do you know anything about Marcus Goldwater?
Marcus Goldwater. And as she says his name, his full name, it seems to have a bit of weight behind it as she turns her head slightly and stares off towards the window behind her for a moment.
Paul, Jenna, and Joe furiously text at each other.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that the things that I have in my pocket are correct.
It's a great game.
She's going to stare for a moment into the distance of the window, which outside, again, you can hear the sound of an ocean. And if you were to look, you see a vast ocean outside of that window. Though you could swear there wasn't one anywhere near when you first came to the Feywild. And she's going to say, I am aware of him. What do you want to know?
Well, before too long, I expect a letter with some sort of response from him, where if he has any eloquence at all, I should learn something, but I would like to know what he may try to deceive me with, if anything.
What he may try to deceive you with.
I have difficulty putting into words exactly what I'm looking for. I don't want his height, weight, and shoe size, or his biography. So, but I also don't want to know, what desires are in his most secret heart. I want to know that when I talk with him, be it in letter or in person, I want to know if I can trust him to speak truthfully with me.
So, is he trustworthy? Is he a good person?
He doesn't have to be a good person, but if he's at least an honest person, I can make an honest assessment for whether this arrangement is going to work out.
I would like to know if he's a good person.
And if he's not, then at least I can be prepared to scrutinize him as he deserves.
As Ren and Nariko have been talking, Lorelei's face kind of goes not blank, but as if she's looking at something that is not there, very far away. And she says, good is relative. Well, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Marcus Goldwater. You want to know what he would try to deceive you with. And the answer is that the face he presents to the world is not the truth. But his truth will come to you in the words he will write to you in the letters that you will receive. Families of wealth want to do everything in their power to hold on to it. And sometimes that means that you have to pretend to be exactly what they expect you to be. Ignore what you see and focus on the words that are told to you.
That is what I was looking for, and perhaps not surprising. I was a bit lucky in that I've grown up in that world, and I certainly have projected a persona that was not true to myself, not for my mother's sake, but for all those other wealthy individuals on which our business requires.
Mm.
He's in a similar position, then we can work with that.
Similar, but different. And her focus comes back to the group. There are some things I can know, just for lack of a better phrasing, just because of what I am. If I have your name. If I have an interest in you. And I don't mean this to be concerning, but do know that I have a decided interest in all of you.
Not much was certain when the contract was struck.
Yes. Well, I just want you to know that, as Ren says, you want to know if he's a good man.
Yes.
We
But
will
that's,
all be watching if he is a good man. But again, it's relative.
it's relative. And that is a determination that I want to make for myself with him, rather than...
And that is one that you will make. No one will interfere with that. Just know, should you need a helping hand and your friends all don't get there first, you have options.
And
What
you,
about...
Queen of Summer, have an invitation to a wedding. Cannot be certain if it shall come to pass and with who, but it is there.
Lorelei lays a hand on her chest and just gives the biggest smile, which looks a little wicked for just a moment, and she says, I've never been to a wedding before. How interesting that will be.
Out of character. Did Lorelei not get invited to Sephi and Sepka?
I was just thinking that.
I
I'm
think
pretty sure
that
she conducted it.
they got married, and she probably got there but didn't get to see the whole thing because they would have gotten married after she got stuck here.
That is true.
So she was there. She was probably watching, but she probably wasn't there for most of it.
No, but Lorelei makes Effie so sad.
I know.
We named one of the kids after you, for God's sake.
We didn't.
Hey, she'll break the world for you guys.
True.
But it just depends on where the wedding was. She could have definitely been there for the rewriting of the vows, depending on when you guys actually got married.
I don't know. Timeline's odd.
Yeah.
I haven't pinned that down.
Timeline's a
I've
little
never
fucky
been-
right now.
All right, we'll revise that. I've never been to a wedding of potentially good, potentially ill folk before. How interesting that will be. Especially when the groom doesn't know that I'm coming.
Depending No. As I said, this is very much still a hypothetical.
Right. That's fine.
Should I find matrimony at some point in the future, uh, would be rude to not have you there.
We wouldn't want that. And what about the rest of you, now that our business has been sealed? Ren. She's going to focus in on Ren. Is there anything I can provide for you?
I am uncertain. I am still trying to figure out what transpired between what I know and what I once knew, but I do not know if it would be wise to push that with outside influence too quickly, if that makes sense.
Death has a way of erasing a lot of things. You're right that you shouldn't push anything too quickly, too fast. And she's going to look down at the pendant that you're wearing. And as she looks over there, she's also going to look towards the professor and back to Ren. I have a feeling you're going to find a lot of answers and a lot of things that are lost as you continue your journey. Funny that you picked that particular thing up.
Hmm? How so?
My brother made that.
Is he also an archfey?
No, he's currently a baker.
Oh. Curious?
Lovely little shop. Little place. In Edmay, if you've heard of it. Considering what you have going on, and this is all friends talking, of course. When you're done, when the road leads you elsewhere, it would behoove you to stop in Edmay for a bit and check out what that town has to offer. I'm sure my brother would be happy to have company. And she's going to look at the professor again. Probably not the only one. There's lots of things in Edmay waiting to be found.
It's a lovely place. There's lots of really exciting people, things to see, conversations to have.
Yes, lots of interesting people. A particular person of interest down there, her name is Z. She's staring right at the professor as she says this.
You just like, why are you looking at me like that?
I just happen to be looking towards you.
Professor, are you okay? You seem distressed.
I'm not distressed. She's staring at me. It's weird.
Was it the grog?
I think I'm okay now. And it wasn't the grog. It might have been the grog. It was kind of nasty.
I believe it is all the fish bones in my stomach.
I don't think it did that for me.
Anyway, outside of fish talk, it would probably be a good idea for you to stop there afterwards. My brother is an annoying, insufferable git most of the time, but he has a wealth of knowledge for a great many things. The fact that you picked that up Everything in that room speaks to someone when they go through it. No one has ever picked that up before. Because I've never let it go into that room before.
Oh,
So it definitely wanted you to have it. I'm not upset about it.
that is
But
good.
I do think a trip down there is important. He can do... He has information that's been lost to time. He can read more languages than Telvar could ever hope for, because he's had 1,000 years to do so, and he can just do that sometimes. He can potentially help you with your issue, or at least guide you in another direction, Ren.
He has lived 1,000 years, and he is not an archfey, but a baker.
Oh, technically he was dead for most of those years.
Oh,
He
you
too
mean
has risen?
Sepka?
Who?
Sepka.
He's not annoying. He's got the best stories.
Does he still have his beard?
Oh, yeah. Maybe it's been a while since I've been there.
I just went, he has a beard. Pull it. Tell him I said hello. But Sepka, yes, my brother.
I didn't realize that you were related.
Adopted.
Hmm. Well, I will add it to my list. Cal has already told me to visit the Rose Coast. Apparently, I have a pass there as well.
You go to Edmay. Edmay's on the way.
Hmm.
I mean, it's not, but
It's on the
Ren
way for
doesn't know
her.
It's
shit.
on the way if you go the right direction.
If you go the right direction, it's on the way. Everything's on the way if you walk long enough. Either way, I think it's good for you if you stop there.
I appreciate the information.
Yeah. Not only that, he'll be able to help you. You can sit, and she looks at the professor again, have a drink. The distillery next door to the bakery is delightful.
You know, I'm not a drunk.
Oh, no, but the scenery there is beautiful.
You're not as subtle as you think you are.
Huh?
What am I not being subtle about?
Nothing. Don't
Ah.
worry.
The professor, are you okay? Your heart
I'm-
rate seems to be increasing.
It's weird here. This is weird. She's weird. This is weird.
I think I can see the artery in your neck moving.
Don't look at my neck. And he just kind of like rolls his head to the side, like stop it. All you lot, just leave me alone.
Do you need some tea, Professor?
I believe he does.
There's plenty of tea on the table. It does have rum in it.
That might not be the best solution for him.
Oh, I'll have
Everything
some with
around
bourbon
here
if
is
you want.
alcoholic.
Joking aside, Kyuki, am I able to provide you with anything else?
She'll kind of fiddle with the belt and say, I think this is more than enough. You've been more than helpful. I think I'm okay.
I think you're okay.
Still kind of it's a lot. I'm still new to the whole being out of a monastery thing, so
Well, from all
it's
accounts, you're doing quite well.
you know, she's gonna stop herself because she was just about to say it. She's gonna go, we've, been trying to kind of do that.
The first time you take a life is very hard. And sometimes it seems like there is no balance or justice in it, even if what you're doing is protecting you and your companions, the people you care about.
Mm.
When you leave a place that is full of comfort and safety and get out and see what the world is really like, it can be very jarring as an experience.
Very true.
If you don't let yourself get lost along the way, it makes it easier. If you have something that you hold on to that is yours and yours alone, that is your touchstone, that reminds you why you're doing what you're doing and the good you're doing because of it, even if yours are the hands that have to get bloody to do it.
Yuki's gonna look down at her bag and kind of pat her teacup and her kettle, as that is the thing that brings her the most joy. That is the thing that she feels connects her to this world and to others. And she's going to nod. She'll say, yes, staying connected to our purpose is very important.
Not your purpose, to
Hmm.
you. Purpose is shift. Priorities change. New information should always make you accept the possibility that what you did prior needs to be rectified, or what you thought was true is not true. Your purpose in this life, long as it may be, short as it may be, is not your life. And you have to find the thing that makes you feel like yourself when your purposes shift and when you're questioning it. If you already have it, that's great. But whatever it is, make sure it connects you to the person that you are and want to be, so that you do not lose yourself in all the different purposes and all the conspiracies that will come out of the woodwork if you stay in this job long enough. And ask for help. And
Yuki's
talk
gonna.
to your friends.
Sorry, talk to who?
And talk to your friends.
Yuki's gonna look at Jade. She's gonna look at Naruko and Ren, the professor, Aura, and she's gonna say, yes, I will definitely talk to my friends if I feel my purpose shift.
Touchstones are all we've got. But a piece of advice.
Mm-hmm.
Next time you're in a tavern,
Mm-hmm.
don't take another dwarf's beer.
Yuki's gonna blush a little bit just because I had a plan.
I am sure you did.
I was gonna say, go ahead, tell Lorelei you had a plan.
I am sure you did. I will also tell you the dwarves don't give a fuck if what your plan was.
Well, I know that now.
Now, it's good. You're learning. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you would like to talk about, Yuki?
No, ma'am.
All right. And her gaze shifts to Aura. And you're new. You woke up 2 months ago, you said.
Aura nods.
Then you would not have gotten the invitation yet. Because it does take time. I made a decree in my first few years here at the summer court. For a variety of reasons. 2 of which vex me to no end, because they do not accept it. You will always have a home here, should you choose it. The life of a changeling can be hard and full of distrust for the people who find out your secret and do not take kindly to it. The summer court, my doors are always open, should you choose to come here. And that was a decree sent to all changelings. You would be part of my court, and you would be protected and have a home for as long as you choose to stay. And you do not have to have an answer now. And your answer, if you have one, might change. The invitation is always open.
If I were to accept the invitation, how would I get back to your court? Or go to and from?
You can go to any siren song.
Any?
Any siren song. Or Leviathan, if you choose. Well, that's not usually the best course of action.
Yeah, Siren Song sounds like the better option.
It's the most convenient one, without sending out about a bunch of magic and teleportation nonsense that anyone could just stumble into, get lost with, or bargain away.
I do have one other question.
Of course.
In your contract, with us, you said that we could call upon you.
Yes.
If we should need you for any reason, and hopefully we don't have to bother you, but just in case, how would we contact you?
I will send you with a... This is going to sound ridiculous. Everything is on theme here, apparently. I will be sending you with a black rose on your journey out. Should you need me, you can use it, and I will hear you.
So we just talk to it?
You will need to say my name, and then speak what you need to into it. I will hear it.
Which is Lorelei.
Yes.
Do we have to use the title?
Fuck no. Just Lorelei is fine. It will wither after the use. It's only for one time. So do use it as needed. Do not waste it. I do not have many of them to give.
Jade just nods.
Yes, Jade nods as well.
I'm sorry. I looked at my token and saw your name. Aura nods.
Do you have any other questions or anything else you'd like to discuss while you're here?
I don't at the moment.
All right. And she's going to shift her gaze to the professor. And you, trying to apparently hide into your overlarge coat. It's not working. Your turkey leg is giving away your position.
I'm not hiding, I'm eating.
You can do both.
Apparently not here.
No, you can't. Not here. Would you like to discuss anything?
We've already discussed all that I have, I think.
Are you sure?
Seems to me that the answers I'm looking for mostly elsewhere. Read of stories of the deals made with Fae and the power of the Archfey, and it's just curious to know if that power transcended the icky things of the universe out there.
The universe is interesting in that there is a balance that is maintained. Wild as that might seem, and unjust as it usually is in the day-to-day life, I have a great many things that I can do. I have an even more many things I can do whilst here at my seat of power in the Feywild. That does not mean I am all powerful. Every god has their devil. Every devil has their god. They balance each other out. Every new beginning has its ending. Every Ragnarok has a big bang, and all that nonsense.
He raises it a bit and thinks on that for a moment, like almost like a light bulb going off, but he doesn't say anything.
It looks like you just thought of something.
No, there's balance and all, of course.
There's balance.
A world of darkness and emptiness. Stands to reason that logically there should be something to balance it out. You know, all this, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction sort of thing. Perhaps I'm just looking at the wrong place, the wrong people, the wrong magics to balance it out.
Potentially. There's a lot of different magic out there, which I did not know until I got this position.
Enlightening, isn't it?
It's fucking mind-blowing sometimes. I can do a lot. If you have information or a question or something to actually look at here in the Feywild, I can do quite a bit. But as soon as I start reaching out into other realms, that's when things start to break down. My magic, my power is counteracted by other things if I am there. I'm not talking about the different worlds, I'm talking about the different realms. Things get fucky, for lack of a better term.
Jay doesn't like that word.
And Jay just looks up and she goes, "It's been a lot of swearing, and I'm not allowed to swear. Oh, I guess I'm allowed to. Papa says it's fine. It's just that it doesn't. I really shouldn't. I kind of don't do it myself. And other people really, I think, should try to not do it as much, but she can. I mean, you're like, this is your house. It's it's good. Lorelei just goes, right. I will endeavour to not swear as much. There are children everywhere. How did you all meet? Anyway, I know how you met. It's fine. Anyway, things start to break down if I reach too far beyond what is placed in front of me in my own realm of influence outside of this. I can't go to the realm of the gods and start kicking down doors and not expect some of my magics and some of my powers to be counteracted. That doesn't mean I can't do it. Just means that I'm not going to be at my tip top. But if you have anything that you would like to discuss or review together whilst I'm here, I can.
Curious.
Mm.
So, I guess this is an extension of my original question then. You can't reach out in the other realms a little. You are limited by that. But whilst here, if there were, I don't know, a level of corruption in your midst, in your realm, here in the summer cold, here in the Feywild, as long as it's here, you'd be able to purge it.
Theoretically, if something were infringing or intruding on my realm, I could fight it. There are the Feywild is a place of many magics, wild and untamed, as I said before. It is ordered, but it is still chaos. It is full of imagination and nightmares and dreams. I am very powerful here. I can fight a lot of things. Corruption, if it were done at a level that was accepted by the Feywild, is not something I would be able to get rid of, because the Feywild would have absorbed it into itself. Fairy itself would have to purge it, and it would probably take a collective power of myself and Mab to do anything against that.
He kind of shifts his balance on his feet and kind of draws inward a little bit. And he gets this concerned look on his face. He's like, Introducing the void corruption to the Feywild would be catastrophic.
Let's not do that.
I would advise against it.
He kind of takes a step backwards towards the door. He's like, my being here is introducing it.
It's really not. It's whatever it is you're feeling, whatever it is that's inside of you, that is corrupting your magic, is contained to you. As Ren's necrotic magics are contained to Ren, and as Jade's, they're all contained to yourselves. It's not leaking out. Jeffrey is of the void, you said, and he's just fine here. All of that being said, I can tell you that if there is some sort of corruption that is working upon you, you would need a similar magic to remove it. If you're concerned, and it seems like you are, which I don't fault you for that. It seems to not be working on you so badly that you're having episodes of uncontrollable magic or anything like that. But if you're concerned, I would say that a similar magic would need to remove the corruption everything is balanced. Even this untried, untested magic. There is something that balances it out. Probably a similar magic that's already based in itself. Have you run across any other? You said you only have the one spell, but have you run across anything else?
Just what's been thrown at us. The cultists who are all capable of wielding it themselves. But that's it.
Well, you seem to have quite a few leads at your disposal. If the cult has been working with this magic and they are themselves not corrupted, they probably have found a way to, if not remove it, balance it out. They probably found some sort of magic that is complementary to it. They'll probably, if you keep tracking them down, I'm sure you'll find, like, I don't know, everybody writes things down. You got like spell scroll or a journal or something, or someone's going to have a book. Probably. I would assume. Anyway, that's how most things are found.
Yeah. Sure.
So, if you find something like that, you should be able to use it to at least counter some of the effects. Like I said, balance.
He nods thoughtfully and he's like, balance. Concept that seems to be get tossed around a lot these days, but well, thank you for your insight. It's very
As soon as he says thank you,
No.
there is a weight that presses down on the professor.
You
guys
just
suck
see
at
this smirk crawl across his face.
We're not really supposed to say that.
I know. See, where I come from, regardless of who you are, where you are, it's customary that if you feel thanks, then you give thanks. And if that means that I'm in your debt, then you're welcome.
That's not really how that works here. Appreciate the hustle, though, of attempting. How about this? You have given your appreciation for the information that I have given you. I would require the same. When you find out more about this cult and this void, to pass that information along so that I might continue to work on it from this side.
Can you do that? Do pay bargains work like that, where you double up on two bargains at the same time? It's not what we're already doing.
The professor, play the game.
First of all, I am trying to not fuck you over entirely.
Listen,
And-
if you've been watching me for any semblance of time, you know that I am very much trying to equal things out and do the right thing.
I've not been watching you.
You probably should start, because I'm going to do a great many things.
I will be watching you now that I know who you are. Our bargain was for our original contract did require you to find Temerity, the people that were after her, and what this cult was doing. I am specifically requesting of you, Professor, to remain in contact with me regarding this corruption, which is different.
Fair enough. Do I get a pretty rose too?
You will receive something.
Oh, I hope it's a pony.
It's not. It's also 11 o'clock.
But it could be.
Great timing. I just thought of another question to ask Lorelei.
We could do another question if everyone's got a couple more minutes.
I mean, my question is literally, hey, the cult is looking for the Clavis. What's that?
That is an excellent question to start the next session on.
Oh,
I'm not the DM. I will allow Joe to decide that.
I've decided Lorelei would know that.
Exactly.
Done.
Woo.
And then in the out of character chat, I posted what I think are sort of the top 5 destinations for where the party might go next. So we should probably figure that out before next time.
Oh, you've already agreed. Lorelei's sending you somewhere.
Do we have a choice in where we're being sent?
Nope.
No.
You did not specify that when she asked you to go after Temerity. But I will allow negotiation.
she's gonna send us straight to the Twilight Tavern just to see the professor get squirmy.
Oh, sweetheart, she's gonna be there when you get to the Twilight Tavern.
It's no fun if just the professor is squirmy. Lorelei wants to needle Z about this too.
Yes, she does. Darling Z, I have a present for you. It will be arriving in about a month and a half. Prepare yourself.
I will also remind friends who have new magic items to double check that your item is equipped and attuned in your sheet so that you can get all those lovely bonuses.
Mm-hmm.
I've been muted.
Oh
No!
What are you saying?
It's fine. I didn't say much. Just if Z gets the missive from Lorelei, her reply would be like, "Well, notice from Captain, this can't be good." And she starts making a very, very strong ale.
It arrives with a black rose and a very pretty red bow on it.
She just looks at it. She goes, "Yeah, Sephi." All right. Well, I have to be up early for work, and I also have an interview tomorrow, so I have to get some sleep.
Good luck.
Good
Goodbye.
luck.
Thank you.
They offer you the job immediately.
Oh my god, if they
They
can
should,
make the
'cause you're
money
amazing.
work.
Yeah.
I mean, the money's got to be there, and like private practice can get squirrely because like
Yeah.
it has to make sure that I still get paid if the patients don't come. So
Yeah.
clients, whatever they're called there. So there's negotiations to make sure. But if it all works out, I would not mind. It's literally 5 minutes from my house, so that would be wonderful.
Yeah, seriously.
It'd be super
Great.
good. All right, I nominate Mars for all of the things.
Yeah.
Mars
With
was
that-
great.
With that, I'm going to bed. Good night. I love you all.
Nice.
Nice.
Love you,
Night.
I'll also nominate Narco because she had really good insight into small children and stuff.
That was really good. That was a really good moment too.
It was.
Yeah.
Nice session, everyone. Thank you. It was a very roleplay heavy.
Yep.
Lot
We
of,
knew that was
lot of good info.
You don't know how to
being
shut
out.
up.
Lot of
You mean-
Lorelei.
I don't know how to shut up. That's accurate.
No, I hate to call out people individually. It just seems mean.
We all know it's me. It's fine.
I love that there was no like denial. It was just like, I just don't want to like center you out.
Yeah.
I mean, but could you check the oil while you're under that bus, please?
I love it.
I need to jump off as well now that I work in an office. So good night, everyone. I love you.
Good night.
Night.
Noodles, noodles.
Right.
Yeah, I gotta go too. Gotta go deal with pets. Have a good night, everybody.
Hey,
Good
love
night.
you so much. And then there were 4.
Yes.
If I am nominated and get inspiration, I already have 2, and my amulet also has 2 charges currently.
I think I think Aura also had some great moments tonight
Yes, I was
of
going to throw that
interacting
out
with
there.
Telvar and Alatar and being very uncomfortable about just everything that's happening right this moment.
Yes. Everybody said be uncomfortable in the Feywild, so I was uncomfortable in the Feywild. And also, Lorelei knows I'm a changeling. How does she know that?
True sight, bitch. I can see all your secrets right now.
I would again like to nominate Jenna for a lot. There was a lot of roleplay tonight between Lorelei and Jade.
Mm-hmm.
Jade's been very quiet because she is one not sure she can not say thank you and please and everything else and just thinks it's better to not talk, and also she doesn't know what to do with this person from her books that has been an inspiration to some of her things, not as much as the books about the stolen lands, but has been an inspiration. And yeah, it was also a good excuse for me to not talk as 2 characters all the time. Because if there is a person who can do that, it is me, and I won't shut up. So what did we learn? Was it to not say thank you to the Archfey? The answer is no, because 2 of you did it.
One was on purpose.
1 was on purpose.
I've learned that even after becoming a Summer Queen, pirate's still gonna pirate.
Pirate got a pirate, man. This is just good life notes for all of you to have. Don't do anything for free. What are you doing, children? This is why I need to be there. And Joe, just for your notes, if you're keeping track, the reason that Lorelei was fine with Sephi being there and Sephi was 16 is because Lorelei was with her and was able to keep her safe. Also, Sephi had like an insane armor class.
Yeah, that's true.
We've got little baby Narco over here and a dead girl.
You know, Lorelei could give more presents, and then I could have more armor.
I mean, you're obviously not gonna. This is not gonna be the first time you meet with Lorelei, unless you actively try to avoid her after this. So who knows what presents you're gonna get the next time. Oh, I did get one! Yay! Oh, I have 2 already as well.
Add a charge to your clockwork amulet.
Clockwork amulet. How do I add a charge?
I just put a note, like a custom note, onto mine that put like 2 charges to help me remember.
Yeah.
2 charges. Yay! Very fun. Very exciting.
I suppose you could also make your own homebrew clockwork amulet that could store 2 charges at once.
You could.
Ooh, Joe gets to do that this weekend. No.
The
How
inspiration
did everybody?
clockwork amulet.
I haven't called friendship bracelet. Mine is called friendship bracelet, and
Friendship
it's in
my
here.
watch.
Actually, it's called friendship watch.
We need to sign off.
Damn it! I forget that we're still recording. Never accept gifts from the Fae without a contract.
Once you eat the Fey food, they're theirs forever.
That's how I got all of you.